Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. Today we have Hillary Clinton versus Bernie Sanders in a hypothetical matchup of both the candidates against each other. So let's just say, for an instance, that Donald Trump decides not to run for the presidency of the United States after winning the primary. And this is just a what-if scenario. Of course, it would never happen, but it would just be something fun to see Hillary Clinton versus Bernie Sanders. So I think this one would come out to a little bit like the primary, but then again, you're not factoring in the conservative vote that didn't vote in the Democratic primaries. So right now, let's just go through the map. States that would be safe for Hillary Clinton are California, um, pretty much the North. These are all safe. Clinton states, Pennsylvania, um, Connecticut, Massachusetts. Sorry, not New Hampshire. Not New Hampshire. Sorry, Massachusetts. Not Maine either. Then we just look in the areas in DC, and then we look in the areas where Bernie would do exceptionally well. So we look in states like Rhode Island, and then we look in Vermont, most definitely. Maine, we would give that one to Sanders. In New Hampshire, we would give that one to Bernie Sanders. Really, a lot of the vote that would come out the same way they did in the primary. Actually, New Hampshire, I'm going to leave as a toss-up because of the Republican vote up there. And then we're going to have to look at the Rust Belt. Even though Bernie Sanders did well there, I think that the conservative base would most definitely go to Hillary Clinton. She's far more conservative than Bernie Sanders, and Bernie Sanders would be perceived as alt-left or the extreme left and would be pushing for a $15 an hour minimum wage, which doesn't work. Then he would also be pushing for free health care, free college, and things that would just really turn off conservative voters. Then again, we do have Hillary Clinton, who could also turn them off, and they just wouldn't come out to vote. But I do think that a small majority of conservatives will come out to vote, and I think with turnout spiral, sorry if you hear any background noise, by the way, but I think turnout will come out a lot, and I think it will help Hillary Clinton overall, because when people come out to vote, I think the majority of the Democratic Party and the country wanted Hillary Clinton. So I'm just going to keep going through this map. Illinois would go to Hillary Clinton. Um, the entire South would go to Hillary Clinton. There's no way it will flip for Bernie Sanders just because of the fact that it overwhelmingly voted for her in the primary. And now she wins the election just by winning the South. We're forgetting Florida. We're forgetting Missouri, Iowa, all the states she won in the primary. I do think would end up going for her if the conservative vote came out, or even if they didn't, because the Democratic vote really liked her in the South as well. In West Virginia, that one would easily go to Bernie Sanders. In Ohio, that one would go to Clinton. If we're looking at Indiana, Sanders did not win it by a huge margin. So what I'm thinking is, even though the conservatives may be turned off, I think that they will come out to vote. And I think they will vote for Hillary Clinton over Bernie Sanders. Because I think that they will choose someone who's essentially lesser of two liberals. So she's obviously a lot less liberal than Bernie Sanders. And I don't think he would do well in Indiana, but he did win the primary there. And I do think with the amount of turned off conservative voters, I think that he may be able to edge her out here, but I think it'll be closer than it was in the primary. Maybe between 1 point. For looking in the Rust Belt, that one would easily go to Hillary Clinton. And my reasoning is, even though Sanders won it in the primary, we have to look at the fact that they did come out to vote. Minnesota came out to vote for her in the general election. We have Bernie Sanders, who turns off the Republican vote, and the white collar vote will come out to vote for Hillary Clinton, but they didn't come out to vote in the primaries. The same people that elected Obama, I think they would choose Clinton over Sanders, even though they didn't in the primary. It was a little bit different just because of the dynamics then. Hillary Clinton, by the end of the 2016 election, I think that she would be able to take those voters away from Bernie Sanders. In New Hampshire, even though he won the primary, she still won the state, and I think that the Republican vote will land her a victory there. Now let's just go out to the Midwest. Idaho, Wyoming, these are states that would go for sorry, Bernie Sanders, just because of the fact that they voted overwhelmingly in the primary, and I don't see any flip. In Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Nevada, these are states that voted for Hillary Clinton in the primary, and I do see them going for her in the general election. If we look at Oklahoma, these are states that if conservatives don't come out to vote, will go to Bernie Sanders because of his overwhelming victories in these states. Now, South Dakota, I think that one would go to Hillary Clinton because she won the primary there, and I think a lot of conservatives will be turned off if we're looking at Washington and Oregon, I think in some of these states that conservatives will come out to vote, but I don't think it'll be as big as a margin to flip how much he won in the primary, which is why I'm leaving it for him. If we look in Oregon and Washington, that one was those were both states for Bernie Sanders. But then again, we do have to come to realization that Hillary Clinton did win these states in the 2016 election, and she did very well in these states, almost by 15 points in both. So I really think that she would carry the state just because of the name recognition, and there's a lot more turnout in the general election than there is in the primary. And then we're looking at Alaska and Hawaii. Hawaii and Alaska, I would both see going to Bernie Sanders because of the fact that they are, the Democrats there are very progressive, and I don't see it flipping at such a big margin as from going overwhelmingly to Bernie Sanders to possibly going for Hillary Clinton. So there are some states that I could see flipping, like Washington and Oregon, but states that are super progressive, I don't really see flipping. If we're looking in Colorado, I think that state would go to Hillary Clinton. I mean, she did win the state in 2016, even against a wave election of Donald Trump, and we do have to realize that when turnout is at its highest point, that's when minorities come out to vote. I don't think the turnout in Colorado was not as big as it should have been, especially in the primary. So it may be somewhat of an accurate representation of what the Democrats would want, but based off where Hillary Clinton did in the 2016 election in these states, and what I think that spiked turnout, especially in an election year, would do for her, I think she would carry the state. So we're just going to recap on the map. Hillary Clinton would beat Bernie Sanders 467 to Bernie Sanders' 71. The reason I put him in the Green Party is because if he loses the Democratic nomination, he would either run as an independent, but I think that the Green Party would better fit him. And so yeah, this is the final map, 71 for Bernie Sanders and 467 for Hillary Clinton. I'll be uploading 2 more times today, so stay tuned for an actual, instead of the Confederacy of the Confederacy of the Confederate States of America, I will be doing the 13 original colonies election night. It'll be really fun to do, and I hope you guys will like it. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.